Is Father's Day about those slightly awkward ties and last-minute gifts? Well, what if I told you there's another story behind it? A story packed with tragedy, incredible determination, and a surprisingly tough fight for it to even exist. Yeah, forget the cookouts for a moment. The real history of Father's Day is way more dramatic than you probably imagine. Most of us see Father's Day as, the other half of Mother's Day. Just another holiday that's always been around, right? But getting a day to celebrate dads? That was a seriously bumpy road. It's a story filled with sadness, a ton of pushback, and the incredible grit of some amazing people. This is the Father's Day history you didn't learn in school. So, where did the first idea for a Father's Day come from in the United States? It actually started from a really sad event. Picture this, December 6th, 1907, Monongah, West Virginia. A terrible explosion ripped through the Fairmont Coal Company mines. At least 362 men died, leaving something like 1,000 kids without their dads. This catastrophe, one of the worst mining disasters in U.S. history, really hit home for a woman named Grace Golden Clayton. She'd lost her own father, and she pushed her local church to hold a special service to honor all those fathers who died. That service happened on July 5th, 1908. But it was more of a one-off memorial born from tragedy and didn't immediately kick off a bigger movement. The push for Father's Day that stuck started a couple of years later, clear across the country. Over in Spokane, Washington, a young woman named Sonora Smardod was listening to a Mother's Day sermon in 1909. Her dad, William Jackson Smart, was a Civil War veteran who'd raised Sonora and her 5 younger brothers all by himself after their mom died in childbirth. Hearing all the praise from mothers, Sonora thought, hey, what about dads? She deeply believed fathers, like hers, deserved their day of honor for all their hard work and sacrifices. Sonora Smardod wasn't the type to have an idea and let it sit. She was a real go-getter. She campaigned tirelessly, talking to local churches, the YMCA, shopkeepers, and government folks in Spokane to get them on board. And it worked. Washington State celebrated the very first statewide Father's Day on June 19, 1910. They even had a sweet tradition with roses, red for fathers who were still alive and white for those who had passed. That became a symbol for the day. But making Father's Day a national holiday? That was a whole other ballgame. Mother's Day was recognized officially by President Woodrow Wilson in 1914. Father's Day, though, it hit a surprising wall of resistance and took a much longer time. Ironically, many men themselves weren't keen on it at first. They thought it was some fluffy attempt to domesticate manliness, or just a commercial ploy to copy Mother's Day. And they weren't having it. Congress shot down early ideas for the holiday, which fizzled for decades. Some folks even suggested a combined Parents' Day instead. The whole campaign struggled. Sonora had to put her efforts on hold in the 1920s while studying in Chicago. For a while, the movement nearly died out, even in Spokane. Pretty wild, right? If this hidden history grabs you, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on more untold stories. But Sonora Smardod? She was nothing if not persistent. She moved back to Spokane in the 1930s and got that campaign fired up all over again. This time, she had some backup from trade groups, merchants selling things like ties, tobacco, and classic dad gifts. Slowly but surely, the idea started to catch on. Big names like President Woodrow Wilson and President Calvin Coolidge supported it. Coolidge even encouraged state governments to observe the day in 1924. Wilson took part in a flag unfurling ceremony in Spokane in 1916, all by telegraph. Then came World War II, and that gave Father's Day an unexpected boost. Advertisers started pitching it to honor American troops and support the war effort. Suddenly, the holiday felt more patriotic, more manly. So, by the time the war ended, Father's Day was a national habit, even if it wasn't officially on the books as a federal holiday. Still, it took a lot more pushing. It wasn't until 1966 that President Lyndon B. Johnson made the first presidential proclamation honoring fathers and set the third Sunday in June as Father's Day. The final, official green light came in 1972, 62 years after Sonora Smardod's first celebration in Spokane. That's when President Richard Nixon signed a public law making Father's Day a permanent national holiday, celebrated on the third Sunday of June. And Sonora Smart Dot? She was 90 and saw her incredible, lifelong work finally pay off. Now, on that commercial side, some of the early critics were worried about it. It became part of Father's Day. Economists say we spend over $1 billion on gifts each year. But you know what? Sonora Smart Dot herself reportedly wasn't too bothered by it. She saw it as just one of many ways to show Dad some appreciation. The journey from that solemn church service reminding tragedy to a recognized national holiday was long and winding. It shows how our views on fatherhood and what it means to be a man have changed over time. The final, official green light came in 1972, 62 years after Sonora Smart Dot's first celebration in Spokane. That's when This holiday has a surprisingly dramatic and hard-won past. It's a story about a daughter's powerful love for her dad, a solemn tribute to those who lost their lives too soon, and a reminder of a decades-long fight to get dads their day. The untold story of Father's Day boils down to never giving up, remembering great loss, and that simple, powerful need to say thanks to the fathers who mean so much to us. What's the most surprising thing you learned about Father's Day history today? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to share this video with a dad in your life. So, when you're figuring out brunch or picking up a gift next Father's Day, please take a second to remember there's a lot more to it.